Some characters in Disventure Camp honestly feel like they came straight out of Plants vs. Zombies. So today, I'm assigning every Disventure Camp contestant a card from my favorite PvZ game, which is Plants vs. Zombies Heroes. This game is special to me because I've been playing it for over 10 years, and I just know a whole lot about it. Since the game has 5 classes for plants and zombies, I'll be sorting the characters into those classes by their occupation, personality, and overall just how they played the game. From this, we'll be able to see how they'll defend themselves from a zombie apocalypse, or even initiating it. Let's start off with the plants. Guardian class. Mirror Nut attacks whenever itself or other nuts get hurt. Maggie shows that same protective attitude. When her friends get insulted, especially by Yule, she doesn't hesitate to fight back and defend them. She even gave Yule a black eye after he made fun of Lake for her baldness. This shows how she gets triggered when her allies are harmed. Forget-me-nuts are subtle but important plants that shut down zombie tricks. This player plays a similar role in the game. Sam often goes along with other people's plans, but if you ignore him, he can become surprisingly dangerous. His strategy involves allowing players to make bad decisions, like what he did with Aiden and Bruno. And Forget-me-nuts also make zombies make inefficient decisions by increasing their trick cost. Poppin' Poppies help the team by healing the plant hero and supporting other plants with their little buddies. This Season 2 contestant was one of the nicest players we've ever seen and plays a similar role socially. Rosa connects well with a lot of the cast and acts as a strong emotional support for characters like Maggie and Lake. The little buddies are spawned in front of other plants, which can absorb a zombie attack. This is similar to how she sacrificed herself for Lake from the Night Butcher. Red Stinger changes depending on where it's played. In the front, it has more HP, but behind another plant, it has more strength. This character had a similar shift in gameplay upon rejoining. When she was eliminated the first time, she played more passively and was afraid to start conflict. But after Marissa rejoined the game, she was much more willing to start conflict by revealing the truth about Natalia and Richard's eliminations to Logan, which shifted the game. Triceratops starts with weak stats for its cost. It has 1 attack and 2 HP, but over time it can grow into a huge threat with its Dynoroar ability. This winner followed a very similar path in Disventure Camp by just initially not wanting to compete and contribute in challenges or interact socially. Miriam started this season looking weak, but by the end she became one of the strongest players with the best strategic game and ultimately won the game. Pecanolith is a strange card that completely changes the flow of battle by making everyone on the board attack with their HP instead of their strength. I'll be honest, this was a tough choice, but Kai gives off very similar energy. They both feel mysterious and have a vibe that can shift how others play around them. His ability to read auras is a unique ability that only he has, kind of like how Pecanolith's ability is only unique to him. Cactus has a very precise aim and acts as a reliable defender, and this fits Marcus well. As a staff member with military experience, Marcus is dependable and consistently looks out for others. Kabloom class. High voltage current is a bit chaotic. It can become very powerful over time, but it's also unreliable with its weak stats and conjure ability. In a nutshell, this describes Benji's gameplay. He's not always the most serious player, and like the card, he tends to get stronger when other people are already causing the action. In Season 4, he went along with Hannah's plans to eliminate Ivy, which was a pretty good move, and in Season 5, he's kind of staying out of drama and not being a problem for his team. Firebead is strong and leaves a lasting effect on the field by leaving behind a hot lava when played. When Crystal hosts, it feels like the same way. Her presence tends to shake things up and make the game more chaotic for the contestants. She makes the playing field much more challenging than it should be by making harsh challenges like the Queen Says challenge and the First Merge challenge where she sends the campers out with minimal supplies. Punish Room deals a burst of damage when another mushroom is destroyed. This contestant behaved in a similar way emotionally and had to deal with a curse. When Hannah's allies were eliminated one by one, she did whatever she could to get revenge on Spencer, which was deserved. Imitator copies the abilities and stats of other plants. This connection is unique only to this character. Drew fits the card well, because he can't speak and he has to write his words down on paper to communicate with the other contestants. In a way, he's constantly imitating his own thoughts through writing, which makes the comparison a surprising fit. Blooming Heart gets stronger every time it attacks. During the merge in All-Stars, this character had a similar mentality. As the game went on, Allie became more aggressive. After her conflict with Jake, she even pushed further and targeted Aiden, showing how explosive her gameplay could become. Transfiguration changes into different cards depending on the situation, but the result is random. Natalia's strategy is similar. She often uses PR magic and social tactics to adapt to the game, but the results can be very mixed. She had the upper hand during the Benji elimination, but once Anastasia exposed her, she was out. Zapricot is an all-or-nothing attacker with high strength but very low health. At first, he didn't seem interested in competing, but Alessio suddenly showed a burst of determination before being eliminated. Mega Grow class. Muscle Sprout gains strength and health whenever another plant is played. Hunter's game worked in a similar way. He had strong allies like Allie and Tess supporting him, and together they build up a powerful group of competitors. Repeat Moss attacks again when a trick is played by the plants. As a super fan, Bruno has a similar awareness of strategy. He's able to recognize tricks and twists in the game and use them to his advantage. Whipvine forces a zombie to move into a different lane. In the finale of All-Stars, Emily tried to push Trevor into a destructive plan, essentially trying to move him into a situation that worked for her strategy. Doubled Mint doubles its stats every turn, which can make it incredibly powerful if it isn't stopped early. This character's story had a similar progression. Early on, Lake was more obedient and easy to push around, but as the season progressed, she grew into a much more confident and independent player. Moonbeam doesn't win through brute force. Instead, it succeeds by playing more passively and building value over time. This character had a social group but never tried to dominate the game, which caused Ivy to be overlooked. They both have a similar approach, and both rely on being underestimated and choosing the right moment to act. Party time is all about having fun and keeping the energy high. After winning, James kept a very positive attitude on the Magenta team, hyping everyone up and even celebrating with a party after taking home the prize money. Smarty class. Snow-Pea freezes zombies every time it attacks, slowing down the opponent's progress. During parts of the game, Aiden has a similar effect emotionally. In his relationship with James, he tends to freeze up and hesitate, which slows down the situation around him. Wintermelon can freeze multiple zombies at once, affecting a large part of the board. On the social side of the game, Anastasia has a similar large-scale impact. She ends up in several complicated relationships with players like Linda, Jade, and Isabel. After the devious tiebreaker from Isabel, she froze her friendship with Zaid because she couldn't trust anyone. Spyrus is known for being extremely intelligent and able to see through gravestones. Amelie shows that same awareness. She quickly sees through Jade's act and recognizes when something isn't right. Witch Hazel transforms zombies into puffshrooms. The comparison here is pretty straightforward. Dunya is literally a professional witch, so this connection fits perfectly. Mayflower can conjure extra cards when it attacks, and it's generally a very friendly support plant. Lil plays a similar role. She's kind, social, and often tries to build alliances, bringing more people onto her side just like Mayflower builds up extra resources. Mars Flytrap steals block meter whenever it attacks, slowly gaining an advantage over time. Ara uses a similar strategy socially. She's good at taking information from other players and using it to gain the upper hand. Laser Cattail starts off weak, but it becomes stronger when another plant is played in the same lane. Early on, Tess doesn't stand out as much, but with the support of her allies, she grows stronger and becomes an important player. Solar class. Briar Rose destroys a zombie when another flower is hurt. Isabel shows a similar reaction when her allies are attacked. When Anastasia hurt her in the game, Isabel pushed for both Anastasia and Marissa to face a tiebreaker, showing that she fights back hard when she feels wronged. Primal Sunflower looks friendly and cute, but it can still hurt opponents when necessary. Ellie works in a similar way. She often comes across as kind and approachable, but when her survival in the game is threatened, she's willing to fight back. Jack-o'-lantern has a playful, silly vibe, but is still capable of doing real damage. Trevor gives off that same energy. He can joke around while hosting, but he's also able to step in and make things intense when the game requires it. Power Flower is a solid attacker that also heals the plant hero. When the situation calls for it, Ashley also supports her teammates and helps keep her alliance together and is good in challenges. Sage is calm and tends to fight in a more passive way. Before eliminations, Jade often tries to meditate and keep calm even when the game becomes chaotic. Those were all the plants. Let's switch over to the zombie side and see which contestants would cause the most chaos. Let's start off with the Beastly class. King of the Grill is known as one of the best chefs around. That makes Zayd an easy comparison since he's also a professional chef. Zookeeper is responsible for taking care of many different animals. This role surprisingly fits Gabby since she also has an unusual large number of pets in her life. Sneezing Zombie prevents plants from being healed and acts as a constant nuisance on the board. Evie has a similar effect socially, often complaining or disrupting the group without contributing much to the strategy and challenges. Synchronized Swimmer is naturally associated with water-based strategy. As a professional swimmer, Logan fits this card perfectly. Cyborg Zombie comes back even stronger after being destroyed. After he was eliminated, Connor came back with a strong desire for revenge and focused much of his effort on trying to get Rhea eliminated, even though it didn't work. This comparison is almost too perfect. Scaredy Cat panics when a plan trick is played. Will has very similar energy. He's easily frightened and tends to react dramatically to situations he finds stressful. Ancient Vampire gains health and strength by defeating weaker plants. Yule shows a similar social behavior. He often targets contestants he sees as weaker and seems to enjoy picking on them. Brainy class. Trickster can suddenly deal a huge bonus attack that ends the game out of nowhere. With their immunity idol, Ren has a similar ability to shake things up. They can completely surprise other players and control the outcome of the game. Cosmic Scientist strikes with precision and relies on intelligence. Spencer shares those same qualities. He's very strategic and tends to approach challenges with a calculated mindset. Cardboard Zombie is one of the most basic zombies in the Brainy class. This comparison fits pretty well. Dan comes across as a fairly simple player, but he still shows moments of intelligence and awareness in the game. Mustache Waxer is proud of keeping other zombies' mustaches perfectly styled. Finn makes a great match for this card because he also has a very defined mustache and carries himself with a lot of pride. Mad Chemist can conjure tricks that lead to strange and unpredictable situations. Jake has that same chaotic energy. Sometimes he works well with alliances, and other times he ends up sabotaging himself, which makes his gameplay hard to predict. Trick or Treater is a supportive zombie that conjures treats to help the team. Tristan fills a similar supportive role socially. And on top of that, the white makeup around their face even matches the Halloween style look of the card. Crazy class. Valkyrie gains strength when other zombies are destroyed. As other contestants were eliminated, Rhea gained strength through players like Alec and Connor. Her position even became stronger somehow after eliminating her allies. Aerobics instructor is, well, an aerobics instructor. Gret actually shares that profession in Tom and Jake Season 2, which makes this comparison a perfect fit. Newspaper Zombie has an old-fashioned style and becomes stronger when it gets hurt. She is one of the older contestants, and when things don't go Carol's way, she tends to react strongly and push back even harder. Zombie's best friend works best when it's played next to another zombie. Olivia shows a similar social dynamic. She values having close allies and often sticks very closely to people she considers as friends. Exploding Imp jumps out of a gravestone for huge high-risk, high-reward play, but damages itself after in the process. As a gambler, Ted plays in a similar way. He often takes risky moves that can either pay off big or backfire. Hippity Hop Gargantuar is massive and powerful, but it is also one of the friendlier Gargantuars. Diego matches that energy well. He is a huge competitive threat, but he is also known for being kind to the people around him. Once they both gain momentum, they are both late game threats. Hearty class. Wannabe hero is a gargantuar that tries to act like a hero even though it's clearly the villain. He neglects his son, but Alec insists that he isn't a bad person, constantly trying to prove that he's actually the hero of his own story. Zombie Coach protects all sports zombies on the field. Richard has a similar role. He aligns himself with Logan, who is a literal athlete, and helps support him throughout the game. Zombie Middle Manager leads other zombies and takes an organizational role. Behind the scenes, Oliver helped run production and made sure everything continued working smoothly. Turquoise Skull Zombie is a dependable zombie that contributes a lot on the battlefield. Ernesto has a similar reputation. As a corporate trainer, he is known for being reliable. They're both threats if they make it to the late game. Trashcan Zombie hides inside a gravestone and protects itself from damage the first turn. I am not calling this character trash. In the first season, Tom keeps a lot of secrets and tries to stay hidden socially, trying to avoid taking damage in the game for as long as possible. This comparison isn't perfect, but there's still a connection here. Cosmic Sports Star has a theme tied to cosmic energy and astrology. Aubrey's personality revolves heavily around astrology as well, and she's also someone who isn't afraid to jump into conflict. Sneaky Class. Stealthy Imp is extremely sneaky but physically small and fragile. Even though she may not seem threatening at first, Fiore can cause some serious damage if other players don't keep an eye on her. Ice Pirate freezes a plant when she is revealed. Nur has a similar effect. When she reveals her true personality towards Dunya, it suddenly changes the dynamic between them. Line Dancing Zombie can easily move between lanes to gain an advantage. At first, Linda originally worked with the Girls Alliance, before later switching over to the Boys Alliance to give herself better positioning. Buried Treasure is strongly associated with hidden riches. Nick fits that comparison perfectly since he's known for having a lot of money. Trapper Zombie specializes in catching animals. In Season 1, Derek exterminates the animals in the forest, showing a similar role as someone who deals directly with wildlife. Toxic Waste Imp is small but extremely deadly if underestimated. Nina fits that same archetype. She may not appear threatening at first as a doll, but she can be very impactful. Surprise Gargantuar is huge, energetic, and loves jumping into the action unexpectedly. Manu has a very similar presence. He is big, surprising, and always seems ready to have a good time. Cursed Gargalith carries a mysterious presence on the battlefield. Jensen gives off a similar vibe, as he is the most mysterious staff member in the series. So now we know how each contestant would behave in Plants vs. Zombies Heroes. Whether it's players growing stronger over time, hiding their strategies, or making risky plays that can change the entire game, both worlds actually share a lot of the same ideas. But those were just my picks. Let me know in the comments which character card comparison you agreed with most, and if there's any Disventure Camp contestants you would assign to different cards. And if you enjoyed this crossover, maybe I'll try assigning these characters to other games in the future. Thanks for watching.